K-pop has taken the world by storm, but its roots run deep and are richly complex. In this episode, we'll dive into the fascinating blend of cultural influences and historical events that have shaped Korean pop music. From the Japanese occupation to the vital contributions of first and second generation Korean Americans, and the ongoing impact of the US military presence in Korea, these elements have woven together to create the vibrant tapestry of K-pop. We'll also delve into the concept of beauty through both Korean and broader Asian lenses, how Korean beauty standards can serve as a source of empowerment for women with similar backgrounds. Many may have heard of K-pop but aren't quite familiar with its context. This short video will explore the modern history of Korea and introduce key events that inspired the South Korean pop and subculture scenes. The legacy of Teddy Riley must be discussed with K-pop. His innovative concepts laid the foundation for the music and choreography of major labels like SM, YG, and JYP. Additionally, the idol culture from Japan's entertainment industry set the stage for the marketing and corporate structures of K-pop agencies. South Korean society has undergone rapid changes since the 20th century. From the Chosun dynasty and the Empire of Korea to the Japanese occupation, which lasted from 1910 until 1945, the Korean peninsula was home to all Koreans. But since liberation, the country was split along the 38th parallel by ideologies that defined the 20th century: communism in the north, supported by neighboring China and Russia, versus capitalism and American influence in the south. While capitalist values found their presence within traditional ethics, South Korean society began to draw inspiration from across the Pacific and its southern neighbor, Japan. US forces have been residing in South Korea since the Korean War. For over 70 years, the Americans have been more than allies. They brought their families, leaving footsteps of their culture. The first Korean rock bands were formed around the camps, playing mostly cover songs for the expats. Oftentimes, they would exchange their night's pay for the latest records. In 1957, the Armed Forces Korea Network, AFKN, aired across the nation. The television channel was programmed on number 2 and radio on 102.7 FM, becoming the main outlet of Western pop culture. The channels provided public service announcements and emergency drills but also shared news and entertained employees and their families. Before the internet took over, AFKN was the sole source of Western popular culture for most South Koreans. Bong Joon-ho, the filmmaker behind Parasite, developed his passion for films through AFKN, as did many other Koreans who found inspiration through the channels. However, often too graphic and inappropriate for South Korean society at the time, AFKN pushed the boundaries of taboo, much like the K-pop scene today in other Asian countries where there are taboos in the mainstream industry. Itaewon, in the Yongsan district of Seoul, welcomed the US forces and their families. The base was located at the heart of Seoul, and the government planned to host most of the foreign embassies and residences in the area. Interestingly, the government designated a special entertainment district along the areas where the US military was stationed. Although most military personnel left Itaewon in the 2010s, from the 1950s until the 1990s, Itaewon was a melting pot of Korea. Waves of counter-immigration brought Korean Americans, North Americans, Africans, Asians, and Europeans, forming a rich community. Since their mid-80s, locals were allowed to enter the expats-only venues. Itaewon's Moon Nightclub became the spot for everyone who adored the American television program Soul Train and breakdancing. Pak Nam-jong, a well-known dancer from the club, debuted on mainstream TV in 1988. By the mid-90s, most of the major artists, producers, and dancers came from the club. Moon Nightclub was like a university for hip-hop and R&B acts in Korea. Seo Taiji, who was playing bass for a heavy metal band Schine Lee, wanted to discover the new movement and met Yang Hyun-suk and Lee Juno at the club. Later, the trio formed Seo Taiji and Boys, which became the most popular and iconic group of the 90s in Korea. Their music crossed hip-hop, rock, western, and Korean music. Later Yang Hyun-suk established YG Entertainment to focus more on urban and hip-hop music. The music popular at Moon Nightclub at the time was essentially New Jack Swing. Teddy Riley, credited with creating this genre, blended rhythm and blues with hip-hop, bringing a more urban feel. This sound captivated the world, even leading Michael Jackson to work with Riley on the Dangerous album. Riley's influence extended to K-pop, producing for artists like Girls' Generation, EXO, Super Junior, and J Park. Lee Soo-man, the founder and former executive of SM Entertainment, started his career in music as part of a band, then as a solo artist, before forming another band. Despite partial success, media censorship policies under the Chun Doo-hwan government discouraged him from continuing his career in the Korean music industry. In 1980, he moved to the United States to pursue a career in computer engineering, witnessing the rise of superstars of the MTV generation, such as Michael Jackson. He returned to Korea with the ambition to establish his label, signing Hyun Jin Young and Wawa, famous dancers from Itaewon's Moon Nightclub. Inspired by the New Jack Swing anthem My Prerogative by Bobby Brown, Lee Soo-man developed an in-house system that managed all aspects of artists' careers, similar to how contemporary arts are produced and managed. The advent of MTV transformed music, making it more than just instrumentals and attractive vocals. Pop music now included visual elements like choreography, fashion, and video, which producers across the Pacific could embellish. However, understanding the context behind certain movements, references, and slang was challenging, especially before the internet and smartphones. The New Jack Swing movement brought dancers to the mainstream, and both South Korea and Japan embraced the genre. K-pop and J-pop began to adopt American trends in their dance crews, with each scene influencing the other. SM Entertainment took inspiration from Johnny and Associates' in-house produced idol industry in Japan. Later, Japanese artists referenced fashion, choreography, health, and beauty trends from Korean groups like Big Bang, to Anyone, Blackpink, and BTS. K-pop's distinctiveness lies in its fusion of capitalist and Confucian ideals, its unique aesthetic standards, and the taboos within Korean pop culture. The influence of Korean Americans, particularly during the 90s, was pivotal to the evolution of K-pop. Korean Americans brought with them the latest American trends and an English voice that significantly shaped Korean music. This cross-cultural exchange enriched the K-pop scene, blending American hip-hop, R&B, and pop with Korean elements, creating a unique and appealing sound. The presence of Korean American artists and producers in Korea introduced fresh perspectives and styles, helping to propel K-pop onto the global stage. Korean beauty standards emphasize not just physical attractiveness but also intelligence, well-maintained health, and flawless skin. This contrasts with glamorous beauty ideals, yet appeals to women globally. Korean beauty products are renowned for their innovation, effectiveness, and focus on natural ingredients. The meticulous skincare routines and emphasis on inner health resonate with a global audience seeking both immediate and long-term beauty solutions. Moreover, the K-beauty industry promotes a holistic approach to beauty that encompasses not only physical appearance but also mental well-being and self-care. Across many cultures and societies, the Korean censorship is acceptable. There are certain lines and modesty required in each society, which means there are markets for Korean mainstream and underground cultures. The globalization of K-pop has led to a natural influx of cultures from the US, Japan, Europe, Africa, and other regions. In a technologically advanced society, music consumption has shifted from mere listening to immersive experiences, focusing on various elements beyond music alone. This cultural shift, while sometimes criticized for being overly commercial, highlights the multifaceted nature of K-pop and its global influence. Naturally, K-pop became a standard for global dance music. Like the Moon Nightclub days, everyone gathered for one passion, dance. There are Koreans that pursue different genres of music: classical, traditional, techno, rap, and metal. However, we can define K-pop as a genre of dance music. That is usually not a solo act, or at least on stage. It's a group thing. Traditionally, people have been dancing mostly together, not alone. K-pop is an invitation to dance. Whatever mood you are in, this is an invitation for you to dance. So what happened to Moon Nightclub? The club and party scene moved from Itaewon to Apgujeong-dong and Hongdae. Previously Ide before Hongdae. Naturally the venue shut down, and over a decade later, the area became once a popular club, Soap. After COVID, the site was demolished and currently it's a veterans hall. The streets used to be full of fun and filth, but since COVID, the neighborhoods have been gentrified one by one. The designated district status will be gone too. But their legacy still remains. Thanks for the culture, Moon Nightclub.